Henshin Inspection presents Super Sentai Sanctuary! This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. I will be discussing the downs, the ups, and the whats of Donbrothers episode 36. I don't know what happened in my show notes. They are incomplete as far as I'm concerned because I had a question of this episode, what it's about. Basically, what is at stake in Donbrothers? Because I don't know. And actually, you know what? I am flummoxed, perplexed, and I don't know what other adjectives to use because none of the stuff that I needed in my document is in my document. So I am going to tell you right now about a little ditty. I'm actually going to go ahead and, while I'm waiting for this to load up, I'm going to let you know that I have finally decided to bite the bullet and to pay for podcast hosting with a reputable podcast hosting site. Good, my document is up. So, my podcasts have been bootstrapped for now, and I've basically been doing it for free except for paying for my website. So now, in addition to paying for, I have two websites, but only one is germane. I have the author website, mjmunoz.com, and then there's the other one, which if you really want to know what it's about, you can check out. You can check it out by contacting me, and I can give you information to it. You might not like what you find, or it might just change your life. Anyway, so now I'm going to be adding on to the expense of the stuff that I do, podcast hosting, but I'm going to separate into very legit, very discreet. I'll have a Super Sentai only, a Kamen Rider only, an Ultraman only, a Everything I've Done only podcast feed. It'll be super tidy, super neat. I'll spend time transferring my backlist to these podcasts. I might kind of re-upload them as brand new or not. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to make it really nice and tidy for people because it's kind of a mess on the website right now because I've just been doing it on my own. But I realized I want to be professional about this and use this as a way to connect with people and way to reach people, way to market to people. And in order to do that, I think more effectively, I need to do it with putting out some moolah for it. So I'm investing in myself and in my whole endeavor as an author, artist, analyzer. So you can see that coming up soon. I'll let you know as soon as I have the podcast up. I'll do Super Sentai Sanctuary, Writer Tiers, and Story Over Everything first, and then I'll kind of go back and grab everything else as well. So yeah, I'll let you know when that happens, but look forward to that, please. And if you want to help me offset the cost of running that stuff, then, I'll put like a crypto tip jar or something like that, and or whatever. I'll put some sort of tip jar. You can give me whatever kind of money you want, and I'll take it. So I'd appreciate that. Anyway, moving on. I got my notes back up. So, yes, I am talking about episode 36 of Donbrothers, which my title for it, the translation that I got for my subs, is The Battle of the Big Dogs. It originally aired November 13th, 2022. The writer is Toshiki Inoue. The director is Ryuta Tasaki. For some reason, I thought Ryuta Tasaki had directed like most of these episodes. This is number 8 for him. So, whatever. Doesn't matter. Maybe they were some of my favorites, and that's why his name kind of stuck out in my mind. Or maybe it just has a music to it. Maybe Ryuta Tasaki is the most beautiful phrase in the Japanese language, perhaps. Anyway, moving straight into the downs, stuff I didn't like from Donbros 36. How does the Dawn Blaster not know that Beastial Tsubasa is a fake? That doesn't make any sense to me. Unless he took his glasses. Okay, that's it. That's probably it. Very clever, Inoue. You got me. You made me look like an ass. I've got egg on my face. And I'm going to move on. What is Jiro even doing in the show anymore? Does he matter? I don't know. He didn't even show up for the mecha fight. Which is weird, because sometimes that's all he does. And, he didn't fight Murase. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. He hung out with his girlfriend, I guess, and his, feral side got to eat her cooking, which was kind of weird. Yeah, I want to have some of that tasty food too. I'm going to take over and do a costume change. All right, I guess. I mean, does that really make sense? Anyway, I don't think so. So next thing is, let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So not showing, but telling us that Beastials can die when we could have had it shown to us in a shocking reveal is a down, because you're supposed to show, not tell. You could have somebody talk about it afterwards. Hey, I didn't realize this. Well, apparently, yeah, Beastials can die when... And then you say, yeah, well, this just happened. So great, now we know. Anyway, so that's frustrating. But, excuse me. Moving on to the ups, because I do have some positive things to say, even though overall, I wasn't in love with this episode. So, anyway, the subtle kitbash distinctions between the two Beastials, Crane and Cat, I think, was cool. So, they gave Crane, like, crazy Marge Simpson Bride of Frankenstein hair or something. Like, some of the Beastials have, like, a beard. Is it a beard or is it, like, their claws? Like, crazy long, like, lightning claws or something. Anyway, they put those from somewhere on the body or face of the other Beastials, like the lion or cat versions of them, to like hair on Crane, and that was pretty cool. Although it'd be better if she was like a seagull or something, so it could be like a flock of seagulls joke. But I don't know if they make those kinds of jokes in the land of the rising sun. So moving on, Tsubasa's comeback was cool. The classic, I don't know what to call it except for Samurai Clash. I called it Samurai Showdown, but when I looked up Samurai Showdown online, apparently it was an old like 8-bit fighting game type thing, so I don't want to confuse people by making them think I'm referencing that when I'm not. So anyway, where they run at each other and stuff. Anyway, the Samurai Dash, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, but like that depiction of the end of their fight, super cool. It's one of my favorite things in all of visual media. It happens in Pokemon. It happens all over the place, and I love it every time it happens, and it's beautiful. So anyway, I did not expect for that Beastial to turn around and have that friggin' giant star sticking in his gut, and then have him die from that. But that was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet. Okay, I mean, and the thing is, when it happened, when Tsubasa was back somehow, I thought two things. One I thought was, oh, he got Natsumi out too. That's gonna be so exciting. What's gonna happen? And then she's not back. But I also thought, oh, he's gonna fight this thing and he can kill it now because he's back. So that'll be really interesting to see. And then it happened. But like I said, I think it would have been served better if it was like, hey, he's fighting this thing, he's injured, that Beastial can't die, especially because like he sparks. Little, Inoue brother, he doesn't glitch out, but he I don't know, struggles while he's like struggling to stay standing, or he's struggling because he's kind of falling down, and like there's some sparks on his suit or whatever, and you think, oh, okay, he's in trouble, and then the Beastial turns around, you see the star in him, he sparks a little more and then blows up or whatever, and it's like, man, there was so much tension that was there that could have been, so much more tension could have been there in that moment if we didn't know that Beastials were mortal when their copies or their hosts or whatever came back into the same, world of existence with them. So, anyway, too bad, but it still looked cool. I will say it looked cool, and I will say I appreciate that. And then the camera work or direction when Tsubasa walked off, stepping over the camera and then out of the scene was really neat. I like that. That I think is that when he said there's only room for one me in this world or something like that, and then he puts the glasses away and goes off. That was super dope. So anyway, I really like that. Oh, and then in the mecha fight, that train turning into a spider or beast thing was freaky. It had a weird skull face on the, not at the caboose, on the engine? On the engine of the train? I don't know trains. Yeah, that was really cool. Okay, moving on to the what's. Where's Murase anyway? I mean, this guy, I think he was wasn't he in the last episode, or maybe it was the one before? I don't know, but he's gone. I guess is he off on his own now? Because Sonoza had him for a long time, and now he doesn't, and it just felt weird that he was gone. I think this break of the week between the episodes has me baffled, and I'm forgetting what I saw and how much I saw and what happened in between and when it happened, and it's like I'm watching a whole new show almost. So anyway, that's kind of funny. And then, why does this show have to be so convoluted? I really don't understand. This is a children's television show. I'm glad it's intelligent and it's not holding the kids' hands all the way through, and it's leaving some things for understanding and questions and things like that. Like earlier, it could have held our hands and told us why Tsubasa was able to be copied by the Beastial because it had the glasses or whatever. And I guess the glasses are what the Dawn Blaster was responding to, and we've kind of seen that in the past with Tsubasa, I believe. Oh yeah, and the other guy, the Inuzaki or Inu Kaja or whatever the guy's name was. Anyway, so that's a cool detail, and I missed that, and I look like a fool. But that's cool. That's a good solid level of writing for children or any audience where you don't have to spell everything out. But the show goes beyond that, and it goes to like expecting its viewers to be like geniuses to keep track of everything. Either like maybe it's just the way my pedantic mind works. Like, oh, I want to know all the details, and I want to know all the ins and outs, and I want to know why everything is happening this way, and, you know, what the timestamps are, and the landmarks, and the, you know, where does everything slot in, because I'm, you know, super nerd about it or whatever. But, like, maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I just need to be casual and enjoy it for what it is each episode and get the overarching thing. And we'll see, it'll be curious, when it all comes together, is there going to be, like, an episode or two, or maybe just a scene in Cafe Donbrothers or something, where there's a big long explanation going to tie everything together and say, all right, this is the status quo, this is the state of the world, this is how things are, and you know, now that you know that, and we know that everybody's caught up on that, and if you were smart enough or clever enough to, you picked up all the clues and put them together, and if you weren't, like MJ over here, then we're gonna put it together for you and help you figure it out. So yeah, I anticipate maybe that happening in the future. No, I do in fact anticipate that happening in the future. But it's just, I don't know that it needs to happen. Or I don't know that it should need to happen. Shouldn't it be simple enough that you can understand, or just have the narration or whatever? You know, you know, Ichimonji Hayato fights an endless battle against Shocker. You know, like, just that is enough, you know? Like, oh, so this guy's fighting the bad group, and he's the good guy, and that's all I need to know. Here we go. He's sad and lonely because he can never truly be, you know, he can never not be alone to some extent because of what's been done to him. Okay, cool. That's the pathos. That's the, you know, the bent of the character. I get that. That's really all I need to know. You know, Minami Kotaro continues to search for his brother. When will he find them? When will he stop Golgrim? So, whatever. Anyway, like, just because it's complicated doesn't mean it's good. That's part of my problem, too. But here's the big question for topic of discussion. What is at stake in this show? The Donbrothers themselves seem to be in danger or in trouble from time to time, and they definitely save themselves. I guess it is the diffuse threat of the Hitsosuki that is like the overall thing that's threatening them, and that is at stake. Like, the Hitsosuki will continue to hurt people, but it's like, as long as people are able to be overcome emotionally, there will be Hitsosuki. So it will be a never-ending battle against desire, greed, avarice. I'm not even sure how to define that necessarily. And then, like, there's the Beastials, but, like, what else is there? The Beastials are something that was made by the Dawn Clan in order to help feed the Cerebrans in a different way that doesn't hurt humans or hurts humans more, or, like, I don't even know what problem the Beastials were supposed to solve. I understand that they went out of control and became a problem in and of themselves, and that they hurt people probably more than the Donbrothers were hurting people, but other than that, I don't know. Is the big threat stopping the Beastials? Because if it is, then I've got the simple solution to you. Get Tsubasa and the other Donbrothers to go into that forest of cats, which, by the way, I love. I don't know if that name is from this episode, the last episode, or the one before that, but I adore that creepy origami place where the hosts go to sleep is called the Forest of Cats. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, like, they have to infiltrate the Forest of Cats and pull everybody out of there to save them, to make the Beastials mortal, and to send them, either destroy them all, kill them all, you know, do genocide, unless they're robots, in which case, you know, it's not genocide, I guess, maybe, I don't know, or threaten them and get them to go back and maybe fix their programming. I don't know, whatever. I'm a softie, so anytime you can reform somebody, especially a, you know, creation of somebody else who screwed up creating them, I like that idea. So I'd like to see that. So anyway, but, like, shouldn't there be one big thematic threat, or like one big threat of a villain group or villain individual who, like, makes manifest some theme in the show, and maybe that theme is about the bonds between people, but, like, the whole thing with the Beastials has nothing to do with the bonds of people. To me, the Hitsosuki has nothing to do with bonds between people, except for, like, in the first episode, Taro says to one of the Hitsosuki, or two of them or something, like, some bonds are meant to be broken, and, like, that's cool, that's a great idea, but I thought, like, bonds between people were supposed to be the theme of the show, and it doesn't seem to be the theme, or at least it's done in such a weird way that I don't get it. Like, is the avarice that leads to the birth of Hitsosuki like the warping and twisting of a bond so that it becomes a like shackle between two people as opposed to a, you know, ribbon or a aura or something positive and not detrimental or deleterious? Like, is that what it's about? And if so, like, then why aren't you writing the show to be about that? And why aren't you framing the conflict to emphasize that? The only thing, okay, I'll take a step back. The only thing that like really works, not the only thing, but like a thing that works really well for that is Tsuyoshi and his relationship with Miho and her turning out to be the bestial copy of Natsumi, who was taken by the Beastials, and how they connect back into the Dawn clan and the Inoue and possibly the Hitsosuki, but I don't know how the Hitsosuki and Inoue work together or any of that. So like, because the details of the narrative are so convoluted, I can't see how it's all thematically tied together, even though it might be. And it feels like there isn't a thematic overarching thing for them to be contending with that ties the whole thing together in a bow. So it feels like I'm just watching Taro get more powerful and the other characters get some power-ups to like not get killed or like to release somebody from being a Hitsosuki and undo the damage that a Hitsosuki did. But it's like, it's almost like Showa level of overarching storyline with some Heisei sensibilities, at least as far as like the toys. I don't even know how to describe it really, but it's almost like it's being made to be episodic, not serial, even though it does have a serial plot over the whole thing, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, I'm giving this episode a 6 out of 10. I'm not really sure what happened other than Tsubasa getting out of the forest of cats and leaving Natsumi behind there. Why? It's cool that Beastials can be killed now, but it looks like the show will ignore that by focusing on the 4th Cerebral Night starting next episode. And I want more story. This feels like a lot of fluff, and it's not enough for me. I want less fluff and more good, meaty, solid story stuff that I can sink my teeth into, and that's why I'm rating it so low. And I'm giving it a bad rank. 6 out of 10. That's not good. That means it was barely there, and then just a little bit more. So, sorry, I just drove by a bus. I could have sworn for a split second I saw somebody running in front of the bus, and we're on the freeway. That was wild. Anyway, so for my story over everything session, the lesson learned from Donbrothers 36 is style is no substitute for substance. You have to give the audience something real, at least every chapter or episode, if you want them to stay engaged with the story or characters. And I understand that some narratives are character driven and some narratives are story driven, or I guess plot driven is how you would say that, and that's fine with me. I don't care. I just want something to happen. My preference is heavy character focus with a lot of stuff going on in the plot as well, each installment. And if you can beautifully blend and tie the two of them together, that makes me happier. So, and if there's explosions and people transforming, then that's top tier stuff right there for me. So anyway, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Please remember to check out Kamen Rider Black Sun episode 3, the review for that. Or no, is it 3? Yeah, I think it's going to be episode, what coming up this week should be, yes, episode 3. Sorry, Kamen Rider Black Sun episode 3 and Kamen Rider Geats episode 10. Those reviews will be up a couple days after this is up. So look forward to those. And then, of course, look forward to the next installment of Story Over Everything, where I will continue to tell you the progress I'm making on my children's picture book inspired by Tokusatsu, inspired by Godzilla specifically. And I will also be sharing with you some insights into the creative process and into the ideas I have for a superhero series that I'm also writing. So I'm writing stuff for the kids and I'm writing stuff for the older folks, or the it's a children's picture book, and then it's like a novel or a chapter book. So it's a pulp novel. That's really what I'm going for. So that's like, to me, that's like an easy reader thing. They're short. They're not super complicated. and they're fun. So I'm a fan of pulp. Like, even though I like some epic length stuff, I really do enjoy more of the shorter. I want more shorter stories. Like, if Lord of the Rings had been like 12 books instead, and they were all shorter, I think I would have liked that better. Because I really like The Hobbit, and even though that's a long book, it kind of has smaller books within it. And Lord of the Rings overall, which I just finished listening to those a couple days ago. The Lord of the Rings, each book, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King, each has multiple books within it. So there are a total of, I'm not sure how many sub-books within that book trilogy that tell the overall story. And I wish they would have just been published as separate little books. That to me feels more satisfying. So I like more one and done, more episodic, more closed off stuff that you can have an adventure with a character and then move on from there and have more adventures with them later. So that's kind of something I want to do with my writing. And like I said, you can listen to Story Over Everything to hear my creative process. Right now I'm planning a series about a hunter hunting in the snowy Badlands, I'll say. Well, they're not. Well, anyway, snowy Badlands might be a bad way to put it. But anyway, he's hunting a beast from another world, and he has to find it and kill it before it wrecks, I don't know, the ecology, the village, and it causes massive havoc and harm. So I think that's a pretty exciting story. Pretty fun. So anyway, check that out. But anyway, for me, for now, that's all I have to say. And this is MJ. I sign out. I'm leaving you with peace and blessings. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can find more at mjmunoz.com, as well as my entire library of analysis, art, and fiction.